Well, Thanksgiving is finally over. We're still eating some turkey sandwiches, but we need to keep a few other remnants of Thanksgiving in our hearts, or else. Good morning. This is Pastor Ernie Lewis of the Blue Point Church in Sisney, Illinois, with your thoughts for Thursday. When the Bible talks about our being thankful, it's not just a suggestion, or it's not just a practice we should do occasionally. It is actually an attitude of the heart. And the Bible teaches us over and over again that we should be thankful, or there may be bad consequences. In Romans chapter 1 and verse 21, the Bible says, they are without excuse, because although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God, nor were they thankful, but they became futile in their thoughts, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Now, first of all, this group is described as filled with ungodliness and the unrighteousness of man. There was nothing in their thoughts nor in their heart that actually reminded them of God. He says back in verse 18, it is this group to which the wrath of God is revealed from heaven. We notice, first of all, that this group is without excuse. They will certainly be that way whenever they stand before God, and they'll make every excuse this world has thrown at them for rejecting him, but it won't really matter. It'll be too late. Notice why they stand as guilty before God and deserving of his wrath. Although they knew God, they did not glorify him as God. Many think that knowing who God is good enough, and it'll stand whenever we stand before him at judgment. But then that could sometimes be described as us whenever we neglect to glorify God in our lives. We put other things in this world before him, and sometimes we just ignore him and what he is trying to do or what he is trying to say. Well, not only did they not glorify him as God, nor were they thankful. I believe this is an ugly picture of America today. A nation that has been blessed beyond measure, but they're not thankful for what God has done. Not what God has done for them, and they don't even recognize it. I'm not just talking about the fact that they didn't bow yesterday before that big feast and thank God for providing it. Instead, they thanked Aunt Susie for that special, or the Aunt Sarah for that pie. You see, the problem of being unthankful is that God has done so much and we fail to realize his work. We don't thank him. We think we've done it ourselves most of the time. Then, some of these people who became futile in their thoughts, that means their thinking is wasted. It's not effective and thankful or praising God or seeing. It's actually called pointless here. When man fails to think on God and his goodness, his mind wanders to some vain things. These people, he says, their foolish hearts were darkened. We always see God as bringing a ray of light to a darkened soul or shining light on a darkened world, but not for these people. Their foolish heart was darkened not only in what they see, but in the way that they think, in the way that they begin to act. And the Bible says, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools because they really disregarded God instead of thanking him for all he had done in their lives. Let's be sure to be thankful today.